Ravens Nation, welcome in. It is 12:19 a.m. Eastern on Friday, September 6th. This is your post-game live stream, and it is brought to you by our friends at GEHA, Government Employees Health Association. They will be with us sponsoring every single one of our post-game show episodes all season long. And Sarah, this was one of the instant classics, I think it's fair to say. And unfortunately for Baltimore, it ends in heartbreaking toe-like fashion from Isaiah Likely. The final score, 27-20. Kansas City prevails. They find a way on their home turf, and literally, it was a toe difference. Look at Isaiah Likely there as time expired. Initially ruled a touchdown on the field, but Sarah, as we saw via the NBC cameras, not quite in.
That was such a roller coaster of emotion, where Isaiah Likely 2 plays earlier looked like he could have been out for the season. Like, he looked like he was in so much pain. Maybe he had like a temporary separated shoulder, like the way he fell on it. I don't know what happened there, or maybe we'll find out soon. But then, Lamar kind of overthrew him on that. Miss Zay, I'm waiting to hear from Lamar to hear what happened on that Zay play. Miss Zay. And then, but then all of a sudden, Isaiah Likely's back in the game. Yeah. He catches the ball. They call it a touchdown. Everybody's celebrating. We're on Twitter calling it. You can see John Harbaugh telling the offense to stay on the field because they're going to go for 2. They were going to go for the win in Arrowhead at Kansas City. And then the replay comes up, and holy cow, just the tippy toe, Bobby. The tippy toe is out of bounds. It was the last play of the game. So they overturn the touchdown. Game's over. Ravens lose 20-7.
We want to, 20-27 to 20.
20-27, sorry.
We want to do something a little bit different this year. John Harbaugh just met with the media a short while ago. It's about a 5-minute press conference. We're going to share a screen and make sure that you guys let us know that you can hear it in the live chat. We want to react live to what John Harbaugh just told reporters in his post-game press conference. So let's go like this, get a little creative on the fly. Here's John Harbaugh a short while ago inside Arrowhead.
A lot of back and forth. I'm proud of the way our guys played. I think the way we fought, the way we competed, the challenges that we faced just by the situation of the game and all the things going on around the game, and obviously the challenge that our opponent presents us, which is a great opponent, and then the adversity throughout the course of the game is a challenge. I thought our guys, met all those things, all those setbacks at times, and fought like crazy to overcome it. And looked like we had an opportunity there to tie the game up or try to win it with a 2-point conversion. So it didn't happen at the end. But proud of the way the guys fought. We're only going to get better from here on out, and I'm looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to getting back to work next week and getting ready for the Raiders.
John, just starting with, obviously, Isaiah just was huge for you guys all night, and even battled back to get on the field for that last possession. What did you see out of him, and what do you tell him after coming so close?
Oh, I think Isaiah played just a great football game, a courageous game. I made so many plays, especially down the stretch, play after play. I put Lamar, obviously, in the same category. All those guys. I mean, those guys were making plays and fighting. The offensive line, I thought, did a heck of a job out there. A lot of question marks that, the pundits and the prognosticators had about the offensive line, saying that offensive line.
Okay.
The way they went out there and played against that defense, I thought was pretty impressive. And that's a challenge, especially in this environment. Communication, and there were problems on both sides. But I thought Isaiah played a great football game. I was proud of him and a lot of other guys too.
John, what are kind of the emotions, though, at the end of the game when you feel like, okay, you've tied the game, and then you're told no?
I'm worried about the emotions. You're disappointed. You thought, I don't know what it looked like on the replay, so I can't say, but really couldn't tell on the big screen. You guys probably had a better viewpoint of it. So.
About illegal formations and all these.
Yeah, they put a thing out that they said they were going to call that differently. I think understanding how differently, we were the first offensive series of the season with that, and I think they saw probably everybody watching it. It'd be interesting to see if they call it the same way the whole season. And I'll challenge them to call it the same way they called it tonight the whole season. So hopefully they'll be consistent about that.
Good luck. Good luck.
His kryptonite. How do you feel about his late drive, and does it give you confidence moving forward if you play them again?
I thought his late drive was great, and I thought he had some other good drives in there, some great conversions in there. So we'll be looking forward to the Raiders. You know, we've got to get ready for the Raiders, and that'll be a big challenge for us in our own home stadium, a home opener. So that's what we'll be getting ready for.
John, how much was communication defensively early in the midway through the third quarter difficult where you had to take the 2 timeouts?
Yeah, we just had some issues with the substitutions back and forth. They were running, different groups on the field and stuff like that, and we did have some communication problems. But that's something that we'll have to iron out for sure. We can be better with that. We will be better with that, and that wasn't what we wanted. So we'll have to improve on that, and we will.
John said something happened on the TD pass where they slipped behind.
Yeah, we just didn't play the defense exactly. Obviously, we didn't play the defense the right way. There's nobody deep back there, so we had certain mistakes during the game that were a problem. Substitutions were an issue. That was probably the one big mistake we had. The rest of the way, I thought our defense played really well. I mean, that's a heck of an offense out there, and our guys played so hard, fought against the run. I thought did a good job against the run, covering their guys. It's not easy with all the screens and all different things they do, and then you got Mahomes who extends, and I thought our D-line and our rushers did a good job of keeping them in there, especially in the second half. So many good things happen, but there's going to be a lot of things to work on for sure. There's no doubt, and that will be one of them. All right.
Okay, so that from John Harbaugh a short while ago. Sarah, Lamar is live at the podium right now, so let's do some real-time chatter. What do we want to do? Do we want to react to John?
Pull him in. No.
Okay.
I want to pull him in. Well, I've got notes on John. We'll react later. Let's get Lamar. If that's okay with you.
That sounds good. Let me
Okay.
just let me do a little bit of real-time skipping ahead to where Lamar is.
Okay.
And he's going to mention it. He's going to obviously be asked about the Zay Flowers misconnection. He's going to be asked about a number of things here. Let's go back to the screen share.
I hate that though, because I have the same questions. But man, Lamar played his butt off, Bobby.
He had an unbelievable game. Here he is, LJ8 himself.
Lamar also 12 targets for Isaiah. Just what goes into that connection, and how did you kind of see him, aside from the last play, really pay off your faith in him?
Man, he was just open. I've seen. I don't want to get it wrong, but it looked like 32 and 20 was like turning to like pursue him when he realized where the ball was going. So I threw it so he can like make a play on it, just so I don't throw it like a line job to hit him in the face mask and they turn around and pick the ball. So I gave him the ball so he can jump a little bit. But I thought he did a great job, acrobatic catch, and I believe it was 2 feet in. Stand on that.
Lamar, the press box is in the cloud, so it's hard to see what's going on there. The play before to Flowers, did that ball get tipped out of your hand, or was that just misfire?
No, actually, it was. I see Chris Jones was on Justice Hill. Justice Hill was blocking Chris Jones, so I was trying to help Justice out, and I tried to get out of the pocket, and I seen Bateman like flying across. So I'm thinking Bateman gonna stop, and as I'm throwing the ball, I see Zay flying across. I'm like, that wasn't intended for Zay Flowers. So yeah, I was teed off about that because I'm like, if I would have held on to it a little bit more, I'd have just fired it to Zay for the touchdown.
So you didn't see it until the very end.
Yeah, like when I threw the ball, I seen him. I'm like I want to say something else, but I'm like, damn, like shit happens.
Lamar, would you guys as an offense go in to expect the crackdown on illegal formations, or
just to be clear, that's not intended for Zay.
He didn't mean right. He was trying to hit Bateman, he said.
Yeah.
But then after he threw it, then he saw Zay and he was like, oh crap. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
was there a confusion with how that was being called?
Oh man, we definitely in practice we didn't have that. We had refs at practice, throughout camp and stuff like that. We didn't feel like we rarely had a call like that, So for that to go down in a game like this, first game of the season, things happen.
You called Kansas City your kryptonite in the past. Is the last drive?
It's not my kryptonite.
Oh,
it's not my kryptonite.
Good, thank you, Lamar.
That last drive give you encouragement, or does it leave you frustrated that you were 2 inches short?
The whole game gave me encouragement, because I believe our guys were fighting. Unfortunately, we had penalties every time we had almost an explosive. Every time we had an explosive, we had a penalty right after that. So.
Pause.
Come on now. Kick in.
Yeah, kick in there. But
Can small things make a
You need to get in on my account. I've paid so I don't have to do ads on YouTube.
Sorry about that, guys.
We'll do that next time.
Here, ready? Let's go like this.
There in the fourth quarter, too, the offense really seemed to click there. What was kind of working there? Was it you guys got to the rhythm that hadn't been there? Or?
No. Actually, we do that a lot throughout practice. You know, just go a 2-minute drill. Just go fast. You know, keep our win and just go. We do that sometimes throughout practices. We work on that.
Lamar, how much did your completion at Isaiah, the 49-yard touchdown, how much did that really infuse you guys with the energy and change the game a little bit for you guys?
I'm just glad it was a touchdown. Nothing happened. It didn't get called back or anything like that because he made a spectacular run and catch. You know, he did his thing, and I like the step back at the end. You know, right before the touchdown, that was amazing. You know. Yeah, that looked crazy.
Yeah.
His was. I said his was dope because it's in the NFL. I was in high school.
Hey, Lamar, you say the Chiefs are not your kryptonite, but seeing how last season ended and this season has begun, what does it say about your team and measuring up against the two-time champs?
Yeah, I believe our offense got we got new additions, and we just getting adjusted. You know, I don't want to say preseason is the reason because it wasn't, because we battled. You know, you can see it, we put points on the board, and you just got to do what we got to do to win those games. Simple.
Lamar, Roquan and Isaiah both talked about how just the fight you guys showed today kind of gives them optimism moving forward. How do you describe kind of that thought around the optimism and the outlook of this team moving forward?
Yeah, I believe everyone in our locker room hate losing. Point blank, period. Coaches, trainers, equipment guys, cafeteria, women and men, and definitely the players, you know, because we out there putting it on the line, blood, sweat, and tears. And for us to lose to those guys and the way we lost, even though I don't want to lose, but I can't be mad at my guys because they battled, you know?
It's a long season, so what do you guys, you're constantly evolving. What do you focus on evolving to get to the point where you do capacity?
Clean up penalties, clean up completions and things like that. You know, we go scramble drill, we work on that. Scramble drills, complete those, catch those. We just got to do what we got to do to win those games.
Lamar, how frustrating specifically were those illegal formation penalties and I guess generally the untimely penalties that you guys got to knock you guys off script?
I mean, it's very frustrating because we busting out behind out there. You know, we trying to win the game at the end of the day, and it's just like every time we got a big play, it's like a flag down. It's like, God, we can't be having that, you know, but we're gonna watch film and see if we can clean those things up because I believe we got the best fan base in the NFL, and they want to see that. They want to see that from us. You know, with the guys we got, the new addition, Derrick Henry, you know, new offensive linemen and stuff like that, and they just want to see us do what we do.
Thanks, Lamar.
Okay, so the final stat line for Lamar Jackson in tonight's loss is as follows. Lamar finished with 273 passing yards. He was 26 for 41. He threw a touchdown. He had a quarterback rating of 90.8. He was sacked once. On the ground, and by the way, in terms of quarterbacks all-time rushing yards, he moved into third place alone, passing Russell Wilson. So the only two that remain, next up is Cam Newton and then Michael Vick. He finished with 122 yards tonight on the ground, Sarah, over 16 carries. Think about the overall game, too. He mentioned it. Penalties. 7 penalties negating 64 yards. Justin Tucker missed right before the half. The strip sack obviously hurt. That led to, I think, 3 points for Kansas City, so it could have been worse, but that led to points. Within those penalties, you had also I forgot to mention the turnover on downs. And within those penalties, it was this organized chaos, this sporadic nature within the illegal formation. Didn't Ronnie have 4 or 5 of them? They got warned once. That was bizarre, and hopefully that gets course corrected. That was ridiculous, and what we'll get to in just a bit is a lot of the national conversation, particularly a lot of former players weighing in on the uneven balanced nature of that specific category within the officiating tonight.
All right. So where do we want to start first here? We've listened to John. We've listened to Lamar. We've got injuries. Or I mean, excuse me, penalties. So where do we want to start first here? We want to start with Lamar. Should we talk Lamar?
Well, yeah, I think so. And
yeah, let's
where I
listen. Go ahead.
Well, where I was going with that was think about all those things that I just mentioned, and yet they were right in it till the end. A toe away. A toe. Isaiah's right toe away from tying this thing up. And as you said at the top, John Harbaugh was going for 2. No questions asked.
No question.
So to be in that position with a missed field goal, with a strip sack, with a turnover on downs, with those penalties, with the new offensive line. You see where I'm going? Like,
yeah, I got you.
I mean, this is a heck of a start to a season. And if you're looking for positives, look there. These are self-inflicted wounds that are fixable.
100%. Listen, like, you know how sometimes people will have the debate of, is it better to just get blown out or is it better to lose by a heartbreaking last-minute play? Having those two back-to-back to the Chiefs, 1,000%, this one is, to me, this one's much better. And it's because of all the things that you said. Now, it also helps that it's week 1 and not the playoffs, right? But I liked the Ravens outside of the clunkiness of the offensive line or like a blown coverage. Like, those types of things are week 1 issues that I think they will definitely get worked out. I don't expect that they're going to have 8 illegal procedures going forward. They're going to have to work with the league. They're going to have to teach their guys. John Harbaugh, you saw in there, was like, I challenged the referees to call it exactly like this all year long. Like, they wanted to send a message, and holy moly, 8 of them, they're going to figure that out. And so, to your point, there was so much week 1 clunkiness, and yet, unlike last game, they never panicked. Did you feel any panic ever? Like, they were down by 10 towards the end of the third quarter. And then I think they got that. Maybe it was at the end of the third quarter. I don't remember exactly when the Isaiah Likely 49-yard touchdown was. It was either right at the end of the third quarter or right at the beginning of the fourth. And they were down by 10. Well, last AFC Championship game, they panicked in the first quarter. They didn't panic this time. Lamar Jackson, I thought, was such a good leader tonight. While everybody else was clunky and unpolished in week 1, it just felt like Lamar was in control. And in the beginning, when the offensive line was struggling really badly, they showed him on this sideline. He's going up. He's talking to them. He'd go out there. I said that one of my matchups to watch would be Lamar versus Steve Spagnuolo, because Lamar would have to get up to the line and read it. We talked about the blitz and how to handle that. How many screens did he do? How many times did he, finally in the fourth quarter, Chris Jones had to stop pinning his ears back because Lamar bit him a few times with Justice Hill getting out and just throwing it right over his head. Just right over, just these little chunk plays that made him have to be honest. And I just felt like he was making correct decisions. There were a couple downfield throws I didn't feel like were right on the money. There was that deep one to Isaiah Likely.
He missed Rashad a couple times.
He missed Rashad, yes. Deep. But then he and Rashad connected. That was a sweet catch by Rashad.
Great pair of hands. In a key part of the game, right? You're trying to lead this comeback. But I think
for Rashad.
But I'm totally with you. I think if there's a real sign of growth tonight, it's that the eye test told you and the performance told you that there was no sign of panic. It didn't become a debilitating experience for them.
No, even when all those even when all those, again, we'll talk about the defense. John Harbaugh talked about having to use the timeouts. We'll talk about the defense in a minute, but I'm focusing on the offense right now. Even with all those illegal procedure penalties, Bobby, Lamar never flinched. How many times did they convert on 3rd and deep when I thought, oh crap, here comes Spags?
They were actually 50%. third down conversions, they were 50% today. Now I know you're referencing the deep sides when they were backed up, but 50% on third down, that'll do it.
That'll do it. And that would be nice if it's like 3rd and 3 mostly. But they were like 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10, and they kept getting these negative plays. And Lamar, whether it was to Justice Hill a few times, Isaiah Likely, Zay with the screen, or him running himself. Like, I just felt like in Kurt Warner's words, he kept taking the layups, which means taking the correct decision in a definitive moment. And so from that point of view, I just felt like we saw tremendous growth from Lamar in literally like from the last game that we saw it. So that's what's so heartening. Now, at the end of the game, it's tough though, because I felt like he was high on that first Isaiah Likely one. And then apparently I thought he just missed Zay Flowers, but apparently he didn't see Zay, which,
he was looking for bait.
Which is, you just
saw
like
his day
hated,
too long. Yeah. Well, he was
people
so
with
insanely open that
so
your
insanely
frustration
open.
is
I wish
palpable.
Lamar saw him. Yeah, like, because it would have
Yeah.
been an exclamation point on such a good game from him. Would have been, or the Isaiah Likely, if he kept his toe in, it would have been an exclamation point for both of them. And so that's frustrating because you wanted it, and you probably get text messages like I do, Bobby. I mean, I got family and friends texting me during that last thing, and I'm just like, did one tweet or one text to him. I'm like, this could be a defining play for Lamar. And then it was a toe out, or he missed Zay.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it was just such a perfect game, and that would have put the exclamation point. But it's heartening because the Chiefs three-peat is not inevitable. That's, to me, we knew that this week one, whoever won and lost, it didn't matter because they're going to see each other in the playoffs as long as they're healthy. Like, the three-peat is not inevitable. It's not inevitable. To your point with how many things went wrong around Lamar, he still had him there. And so that's what's heartening about it all.
You know, wide receiver number 1 tonight was a tight end. And he was doing a little bit of everything. And his name is also Zay. But his real name is Isaiah Likely. This guy was exceptional. 111 yards, a touchdown. PFF gives them points specifically based on their metric, PPR points, 26.1 for them. Doing the dirty work. You see what he did to Karlaftis there? Caught Karlaftis in the middle of nowhere, no man's land. That was one of a couple blocks.
Right
Here
there.
he is. Well done. I mean, a stiff arm for the ages. Not really. I mean, he's just moving him. He doesn't have the ball in his hand. But, yeah, this is a full flattened George Karlaftis right now. What you saw from Isaiah Likely tonight, Sarah, was the off-script improvisation, the rapport that we talked about all summer long between he and Lamar, the acrobatics, and you can't question this guy's resolve. You know, at the end, like you referenced off the top, for him to come back in a play or two after what looked pretty scary because of the landing zone in the end zone. He landed on the non-turf part of the end zone in the back left corner. And it looked like it was somewhere in the rib area or the abdomen or the groin, you know, somewhere in there. It looked so painful the way that he landed. And yet, all of a sudden, he's back out there just a play or two later and finding a way to come down with that catch. And my, oh my, all it comes down to is a toe to decide this rematch. So it had a little bit of everything. But what you saw tonight was that Isaiah Likely is capable of taking that step. And remember what we talked about this morning during our Ravens lunch hour live stream? My prediction was, hey, you know what? We all know who he is, but the national scene hasn't yet. That's aged well through one game. He's got more to do. But he showed why on a national stage tonight that he's capable of being a top target.
Yeah, you predicted him to be the breakout player nationally. And I think tonight that this was the beginning of it. I mean, think if he kept the toe in, then it's like he's exploding onto the scene. But even without that 49-yard, or even before the 49, how many times, Bobby, remember we talked about 2 tight end sets, and we'll get to Mark Andrews in a minute. He was not highlighted very much, but we're talking about getting them both out there. And this is exactly why I said Rashad Bateman isn't going to have this big breakout year. There's too many weapons in front of him. And on that final drive, how many times did Lamar throw it outside Okay, tight ends are usually in line.
Yeah.
But
no.
we've been saying
Not him.
that both Mark and Isaiah can line up outside at receiver. And so time and time again, Lamar just was like, here, let me go just throw it to the outside to Isaiah. He'll run up, get the first down, go out of bounds, or get 8 yards, go out of bounds. Like, it reminded me of Joe Flacco to Derek Mason back in the day, that it was just like easy money. Boom, 2-minute drill, no problem. Right out here, we're gonna get 8 yards, and then he's gonna go out of bounds, and we're gonna stop the clock. I got no timeouts, no problem whatsoever. Like, he was just unreal. And as
like
you
alluded
referenced,
to,
go
look,
ahead.
Look at the hezzy, the pumping the brakes, leaving just like Lamar did in high school. The classic viral video of Lamar putting guys on skates. Isaiah decides to stop from going 100 miles an hour and goes 0 for a half a second. 6 goes out into the abyss, and Isaiah walks right into the end zone. I mean, that was just tremendous. And yet here again, yeah, the measurables tell you that he's a tight end. The ability and the eye test and what this guy does on the football field athletically showcases wide receiver type abilities. It's
Right.
incredible.
This is his reaction, Bobby, too, when he saw the replay of his toe
Yeah.
being out. And I know he was disgusted by it, but I hope he keeps his head up. It's kind of the same sentiment we had with Zay Flowers last year when he had like the fumble. And it was just like, man, but Zay had such a great game and he could have maybe won it. And now Isaiah likely maybe could have won it. And so I just hope he keeps his head up. I know Lamar's not going to lose faith in him. I know, Ravens flock isn't losing faith in him. I mean, I'm sure that's gutting for sure. But I want to take a look at the overall numbers for kind of this receiving core. So likely 12 targets, 12. 9 receptions. That's worthy to keep getting targets. 111 yards, and then the 1 touchdown could have been 2. Bateman, 5 targets. He ended up having, that's a decent amount of targets. 5 targets, 2 receptions, though. The one where it was just a nasty catch, 53 yards, that put the Ravens even in scoring position there on that final drive. Well done there. And then Zay Flowers got 10 targets, but a lot of his was like behind the line of scrimmage for him to do screens, right? For 30, and then so he only got 37 yards. Mark Andrews, 2 targets, 2 receptions, only 14 yards. Remember, he kind of fell down when he caught the one. He gets back up, tries to get a few yards.
That was tough. That
was tough.
It looked like
Nelly
he slipped, but then when it replayed it, like it wasn't even a slip.
He just went down with it.
Yeah. Quiet night, uncharacteristically quiet night for Mark, but that's why you have the deepest tight end room in the league. And you hope that each and every week, and by the way, heavy first half of 12 personnel. I saw a statistic. Todd Monken was rolling, and then both of those guys were out on the football field together. So you hope that they can mix and match any given week between the two of them. And before we continue this conversation, before I forget, we got to make sure we get our read in. And like I mentioned in the pregame show, partner, we're so thrilled that GEHA will be back with us, sponsoring every single one of our postgame shows this upcoming season. And they have a message for you. Hey, Ravens flock, a new season is upon us, and that means another amazing season for the city of Baltimore. And while your favorite team plans their future, the Government Employees Health Association, or GEHA, can help you plan for yours. GEHA has offered medical and dental benefits for more than 87 years, and they're designed to meet the needs of federal employees and retirees, military retirees, and their families. And with over 2 million members and counting, GEHA continues to serve those members and families who serve all of us every single day. GEHA, proud partner of the Baltimore Ravens and providing health and dental benefits for federal employees since 1937. You can visit more at GEHA.com or just click the link that we have included in the show notes below. I didn't mean to lose your train of thought there. Where were you?
No, that's great. I'm glad we got that. in. Just a couple more things on the stats of the night. I wanted to say this about Derrick Henry. We started off in that first drive. I think he had 5 carries. And remember, they had 6 carries by running backs total in the AFC Championship game. And he ended it with the punching it in the end zone.
Yeah.
Then after that, here we go. I'm thinking, here we go. It's exactly what we wanted. And then he kind of just wasn't featured as much. I don't want to say totally disappeared.
Justice got some good run tonight.
Justice has to be in there for some of these 2-minute offenses, by the way, which happened both at the end of the second quarter and at the end of the fourth quarter. And so when you're playing from behind, if you're not like the out of the backfield, let me catch something, and try to run up, that's not really Derrick Henry's game. Derrick Henry's going to get more like 20 attempts when you're ahead. It's going to be tough to feature him, but I still would have liked to have seen more. I would have liked to have seen a bit more. There was a couple. Remember, he got that first down. Was it on fourth down that they went for it, and he punched in for yeah. So it's not like he totally disappeared. It just wasn't as much as we had kind of hoped. But at the same time, I do get the game circumstances this time. Last time, I thought they panicked and just went away from running. This time, I think the game circumstances did play in a bit because he didn't totally disappear, but it just wasn't as featured as much as you would have liked.
What'd you think of the 4th and 3 call where Zay Flowers was hiding behind his offensive lineman? And then it looked like at first glance that Nelly whiffed on his assignment. There was some back and forth debating on social media over that. I saw a little bit of back and forth. Spencer Schultz, who we rely on here and there for his football acumen, Jack Settleman tweeted out, Aguilar is supposed to take the corner or block the corner. I think this is actually a great play. Don't know if Aguilar messed up or the Chiefs passed off Aguilar well. Spenny says, no, the Ravens ran a jumbo package, which usually forces man coverage. Aguilar runs off his man. The Chiefs ran zone, and the corner made a play. That was one of those ones where you can watch it you have to watch it like a couple different times to truly like study what the strategy was there. And actually, it was a clever play. It's just better defense.
It was just better defense. Like, I had tweeted this image out of it. Like, Zay is down there. I mean, it is tough to see. And so I tweeted and said they try to hide Zay, but it didn't work. And everybody, did what you just did. They yelled at me and they said, yes, it did.
They jumped down my throat too. Yeah.
Yeah. Because they said it's because Aguilar didn't block his man. I'm with Spencer. I don't know that was the case. And so when Zay went out there, like, they saw him, so it didn't quite work. So the decision on it, I like in the moment, I for sure kind of felt like, well, is this a little too, like, I wanted the Ravens not to panic. That was one of my themes coming into it. Like, play Ravens ball. Don't try to beat the Chiefs at their ball. And I think they did that tonight. They never, ever panicked. And so, but this one I felt like, well, it's still early. Don't give Mahomes a short field. But I think they thought they had something with this one. Obviously, this was a little bit of trickery. Yeah. It just didn't work. No. So in the moment, I kind of wanted to punt it though, because I didn't want to give Mahomes a short field.
Yeah. Like it is the jumbo package, right? You see Pat Ricard on the left-hand side, 42, right? You see Zay over here. You see Lamar. Where's Derrick Henry? It's 4th and 3. How come he can't be featured here? Right. He's not in there. And so that's
who's to the left in front of Pat Ricard.
I'm sorry. Is that 22? Right in front of Ricard?
It looks like it to me, plus he's got the hair coming out. So I think that is Derrick Henry right there.
Yeah, you're right. He is there. Okay. But everything was happening on the right-hand side. So maybe in this case he was used as a decoy?
Yeah. That's what I think they were probably yeah.
All right. So I guess that's
anyway, I think they just thought they had a great play. Yeah. And maybe it's worked. And I'm sure they had the analytics, and John, I'm sure, had a gut, but Chiefs were better. Like you said, they were better. They saw Zay and they stopped it.
We want to make sure, we're obviously going to talk defense here shortly, and we want to make sure we're as thorough as possible when it comes to this side of the ball. And some beat reporters are tweeting in things that we should add in on the offensive line. Jeff Zarebek and others had a chance to catch up with Ronnie Stanley post-game, and he said he felt like the refs were trying to make an example out of him with illegal formations. He said it was not called the way the team was told it would be called when the professional refs were at training camp practices. He also said he was looking at how the Chiefs tackles were lining up, and he couldn't understand why the Ravens were getting called and Kansas City wasn't, like all of Twitter was, and not just Ravens Twitter. I saw Damian Woody weighing in on this topic. I saw Brandon Stokely weighing in on this topic.
What'd
There were
they
a number
say?
of all the same thing.
That they wasn't called on both sides?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
By the way, we have 5,000 people in with us. Just wanted to point that
5,000,
out.
huh?
Thank you.
5,000. Thank you guys for being here. No, it's a late one. No, we were a little bit behind just because of the 20-minute delay of the game and whatnot. So thanks for spending your late evenings with us, depending on where you are. Like the video if you've been enjoying the content. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and hit that notification button. All those things really help. I saw Brandon Stokely. I saw Michael Orr. I saw, and yeah, you have it right here. I saw Damian Woody. I saw all kinds of different either past and present players or analysts. Here's Michael saying, year after year, the disrespect for the Ravens franchise is unreal. These penalties are ridiculous. And you heard what Ronnie just told reporters a short while ago.
Yeah, listen, I thought the officiating was pretty bad tonight. Like, it's hard. It's they were clearly trying to, there was no doubt in my mind that they were trying to make an example in this week 1 on this play. And then you have this gut feeling that it's like, well, when the Ravens get called 8 times for it, did the Chiefs ever get called for that? Even once?
I don't think so.
I don't remember any legal procedure on the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Maybe one went through that we don't know about, at best 2. But you're going 8 times to 2, to the point where you've got your left tackle doing what receivers do and like being like, hey, ref, am I good here? You know?
Right.
So there's that part of it, which is extremely frustrating. Now Ronnie's saying this is not how they taught us when the professional refs came in. That's got to be frustrating. Then even beyond the illegal procedures, how about them allowing, I mentioned this already, you're not allowed and people were saying, wait, can't they? Because in 2007, Rex Ryan did. Well, guess what? It's 2024. Like the NBC rules experts came in. And by the way, the analysts knew it too, like right away when it happened. They were like, that's not allowed. Assistant coaches are not allowed to call a timeout. And so originally the ref you actually see that we have on the screen here, he doesn't take the timeout. It's another referee. The NBC analyst said this, another back judge over in the corner of the end zone. He took it. He allowed it. Like, I need to look up what the rules are for the NFL, but I'll tell you this. If you call a timeout that you don't have when I coach basketball, that's a technical foul. I get free throws and I get the ball out of bounds. That's in basketball.
Instead, they're granted
when somebody tries to take a timeout, instead it was granted.
Granted and not penalized, meaning they're rolling. They're scot-free, right? Like,
yeah.
What are we doing here? And Terry McCauley was all over that. And you're thinking to yourself, so wait a second here. Not only is there an unbalanced effort here happening with the illegal formations or lack thereof for Kansas City, with a lot of people on social, a lot of offensive line experts noting that it's very similar, meaning the way that Ronnie was lining up was the same way that what's their left tackle's name? Jawan. And what do you have here?
Kingsley.
Oh, sorry, that's Suamataya, but
Suamataya.
I think right tackle maybe was. I'll look it up in a second here.
Well, right here is just another terrible call. But luckily, the 49-yard touchdown from Lamar to Isaiah Likely made it not as big of a deal. But the holding call on Tyler Linderbaum.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about weak ticky-tack. Some people say non-existent. Like, he disengaged as soon as the runner hit like where they were. Like, there was a tiny finger. Like, you could call holding like that on every single play. Here's Spencer saying disgusting, disengaged as soon as defender broke laterally.
Yeah.
Kyron Sammy, one of the worst holding calls I've ever seen. Stop insulting our intelligence.
Here's Damian Woody.
Here's
what I was trying to find.
Okay.
He said, this is crazy because Jawan Taylor damn sure is lining up no better than these Ravens offensive tackles. Jawan's on the Kansas City side. So
yeah,
there was a lot of that. But yeah, the Linderbaum one was tough. It's like, yeah, you get it. you get it. He made contact, but like really, it's just.
Now I will say Roquan got away with one.
Yes, he did.
And that's surprising, given that it's Patrick Mahomes. It's like if you got away with one against, I don't know, Baker Mayfield or something. But
you want to know what I think happened there?
What?
That player who wasn't dressed shoved him, and I think they called it a wash. Real quick there on the sideline, and Roquan. If we want to I don't know if you're ready to transition to defense yet, but Roquan gave an unbelievable press conference.
Okay, let's get to that. Let's transition in just a second. I want to just make 2 points on offense.
We may want to go to Rowe's press conference.
Oh yeah, if you want to pull that in, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Two things. Just a couple people. Most people agreeing with us on the refs. A couple people saying, "Come on, losers, blame refs." We're not. Listen.
I'm blaming them.
Listen. Nobody's saying the Ravens lost because the refs, but it had an impact. And are we supposed to pretend that the officiating, like we're just supposed to ignore it? Like our post-game shows can't mention the refs? Can't mention that at all? Can't hold them accountable at all? Nobody in here said the Ravens lost because of the refs. So let's make that clear right now. The second thing is we're not ignoring any single piece of what happened in this game. None. And like I said, I'll point out where I think the Ravens got away from one. It seemed like at first to me, Roquan, it seemed like he got away from one, but maybe Bobby saw more. But nobody said, "Hey, we're blaming the loss on the refs." But we're going to acknowledge them, and we want them to be held accountable. And I'm sure when your team gets bad calls, you want the same thing. So let's make that clear. One other thing before we go over to defense, offensive line. I was a bit surprised by John Harbaugh's comment that he was very proud of the offensive line. He's like, there was a lot of questions about them, but they played well. To me, I still have questions.
You know how he does. You and me both. Yeah,
but like he usually, I don't know. Like that was like one of those, I'm going to go to bat for him. I mean, now early, maybe we weren't like early when they had maybe 2 or 3 illegal procedures, we're like blaming, the offensive line. So maybe that impacted a little bit of our opinion early of the offensive line, but also the moment they brought in Roger Rosengarten and put him next to Daniel Fa'alele, and Roger got poor young Roger.
Yeah.
Chris Jones is like, I will be taking him. Did you notice how like in one time Collinsworth pointed out that Chris Jones is like, no, I want Fa'alele, and he made the other defensive lineman move, but on that one. But on that one, Fa'alele held him. Like
his ground.
He held his ground. I think he got a little bit of help from McCary.
Yeah. Chris was literally picking and choosing.
Yeah. He's like, I will take that one, and I want this, and I want that. And I'm like, I guess that's what you can do when you're one of the best defensive linemen.
Yeah, he was a game wrecker.
He was a game wrecker, especially on that play, and Fa'alele didn't help. And I didn't feel like they were getting much movement going for Derrick Henry. But I will say I felt like the defensive line got better as the game went along, but I also think it was helpful that Lamar was making the right calls on blitzes and things like that, and Chris Jones had to himself pull himself back because Lamar kept getting him with these kind of chunk plays. So, but no, they didn't answer questions for me, but I will say they got better as the game went on.
They did, and they put the team in a position to win. I mean, they were in a position to win that game, but they were far from perfect in the right-hand side of the line. I think I saw a tweet of yours from earlier on. Put me in the camp of wanting to see what Ben Cleveland would be rather than Fa'alele at right guard. And then, we can talk about the rotation probably another time. But let's go to Roquan at the podium.
Let's do it.
Sound good? All right. Mm-hmm. Back to the share screen feature. Let's do it. Hope you guys are enjoying this new little thing that we're tinkering with. And here's Rowe.
The likely touchdown. Were you watching on the big screen? Did you think it was a touchdown?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was a touchdown, and that's what they called on the field. And I didn't think it was enough evidence to overturn it. But I feel like that'll be something that the refs will have to deal with whenever that time comes, and that's out of my control.
Roquan, obviously a couple mistakes as John referred to, but how'd you kind of feel taking the field against one of the league's best, Patrick Mahomes, and how you made out overall?
Yeah, it felt great heading into the game, but obviously there was a lot of mistakes out there, and that's not what we pride ourselves on. And I think that starts with me communicating each and every detail throughout to the guys and making sure we're all on the same page. And if we're all on the same page, we're a tough defense to move the ball on. But a lot of the things that happened was self-inflicted, but hats off to those guys. They made us pay for it, and hey, it's a game of inches.
Was it just first game stuff that you kind of just have to work your way through, or was it crowd noise? What was the kind of the impetus behind some of the communication issues?
Yeah, I don't think it's the first game things at all. And I think it's just more so each and every individual holding themselves to a higher standard. And I think that starts with me leading the guys, making sure the communication is up to par, and then echoing it throughout and doing that throughout the game, regardless of the circumstances. There's no excuses whatsoever. And, hats off to those guys. They won the game, but we'll definitely see them again.
Roquan, what do you, as a team, do you feel? I mean, you nearly came back and tied this game. As a team, what are you taking from this game?
All the great things, and then all the negative things, just building off of those. We have to look ourselves in the mirror, each and every individual. There's a lot of plays personally out there today that I wish I could get back. I didn't feel like I played my best game, and I think, when I play my best game, I feel like that echoes out throughout the defense. So I think it just starts with myself personally, and I have to be better in order for us to be better as a defense. And when we do that, we'll be great. But, hats off to those guys, and we're looking forward to next week. It'll be a great opportunity to bounce back.
Roquan, you keep saying it starts with you. Why is it that you're putting that responsibility on yourself?
I'm the leader of the defense, and there's countless other leaders out there as well. But I look myself in the mirror and I hold myself to the highest of high standards. And at the end of the day, I get the call in from the DC, and I echo the call out to the guys, and I have to make sure we're all on the same page. So that's what it is, and it'll be that way. So it is what it is. But just take things and you build off of it.
What did you guys do in the second half? Because the first half, they're clearly were hitting kind of the middle of the field. In the second half, you guys seem to deny that, make them earn it a little bit more.
Yeah, I think it was just some adjustments. Hats off to Zio for that, making adjustments at halftime, knowing where they was hitting us at, and a couple plays like myself personally when 3 ran the option route on me. I think number 4 ran the option route on me. So got to be all over that.
Rasheed Rice.
Yeah, that's what it is. Thought it was a BS horse collar, but it is what it is.
What was your perception of that play along the Chiefs sideline with Mahomes?
Oh, he flopped. He flopped. That's why the referees didn't call it. It was a great no call by the ref. But whoever 88 is, I don't know who he is, but he better watch himself. He did a push.
Was there somebody on the sideline that pushed you as well?
Yeah, whoever number 88 is, I have no idea who he is, but I'll see him when I see him.
Peyton Hendershot.
One of the other leaders on this team is obviously Lamar. What did you feel about his?
Peyton Hendershot is the player that he. I don't even know.
Tight end. It's got to be a tight end at 88.
Yeah, tight end.
Yeah.
Tight end who was not dressed. 6'4", 254, Indiana, third-year player, fourth-year player, first year in Kansas City. But so
he's saying Mahomes flopped?
He's saying Mahomes flopped, which is why it was a no call. I had maybe thought at first glance, not having gone back and watched the replay more than, like in depth, that maybe it was a wash because of those two, or like Roquan potentially getting away with a late hit.
Right.
But then literally seconds later, you got Hendershot shoving him from behind.
Right.
And I wonder if the refs are like, all right, let's just keep this moving. Like, there was both on each side. It was a foul on each side. One player is not even dressed. The other is.
Right, right. Yeah.
More from Roe.
Okay.
Effort tonight.
It was a great effort by Lamar. Personally, as a defense, we should have never put him in that position, being able to come back from like that. But it was hats off to him. It's the reason he's a 2-time MVP. But as a defense, we should have never put those guys in the position. So it starts with us as a defense and eliminating explosive plays, eliminating countless mistakes that we had, and then giving the offense many opportunities to do what they do. And we'll do that the rest of the way. So this is the worst we'll play all season. So I can promise you that.
All right. Next one.
Okay.
Well, again, I'll go watch the game, but I thought Roquan got away from one, and maybe because there was extracurricular activity, they were just like, okay, let's just move on. But I do not want to be Peyton Hendershot.
Ooh, yeah.
With Roquan Smith saying he better watch himself. So
straight up.
Oof.
Yeah.
I also think that the refs got it correct when they called a horse collar on him. Like, he didn't get into the shoulder pads, but I don't think it has to be in the shoulder pads anymore. Like, it can be up if you get the jersey up there.
He got a
So
lot of the jersey, so much so you could see the under
yeah,
part of the
yeah. So I think the refs got that one correct too. I actually think for Roquan, he had a great day with the refs. Not so much on offense, but Roquan
Yeah.
had a great day with the refs. Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
get to some
But
of the breakdowns.
I just wanted to say one thing about him is I like the way he took accountability. Like, a lot of people are blaming John Harbaugh for taking the timeouts early, and that is not what you want to see early. But you have to take timeouts if you see that your defense, because what you're going to keep, if you don't call the timeouts, there's a potential another Xavier Worthy that we saw with the busted coverage with Marlon Humphrey. You know what I mean? Like, if your defense is not set in the right spot, like, that's what you're going to get again. That's what you're going to get. So, and that's on Zach Orr and his unit and Roquan saying, hey, that's on me. I got to make sure I'm communicating. He said, this is not week one stuff. This is just each individual person needing to know where you're supposed to be. And so, John shouldn't have to be in on that, right? That defense has got to be moving with their calls and get in and out. But when a head coach sees that you're potentially have another busted coverage, you're not in position, you're forced to take that time out. It's not like he wants to.
Yeah.
So I don't blame him for that, but I guess the buck stops with him, right? And so you got to make sure that the defense doesn't get in that position in the first place.
Well, you mentioned the breakdown, and we got to talk about Xavier Worthy while we talk about this busted coverage of Marlon Humphreys and others. I'm sure we're involved in that as well. But Xavier, Sarah, in his debut NFL game, Mr. 421, as the late Jacoby Jones famously told us during our draft coverage, or referred to him as, he was as advertised. He runs away from you. He is a blur. And you better believe that Andy Reid is going to use his skill sets and get the absolute most out of him. He finishes with 2 receptions for 47 yards and a touchdown. He was targeted 3 times. And then the sweeper, the handoff from Mahomes, the trickery in the backfield, he went for a carry, 21 yards, 2 touchdowns total. But this one that you see up on the screen here, and you tweeted about it, busted coverage on the Xavier Worthy touchdown. Marlon thought he was passing Worthy off to somebody. Clearly, we saw that there was nobody there. Pete Gilbert then added on and said that he saw a few coverage busts, and he likened it to the early part of the Mike McDonald era, if you can remember that, in the early part of the 2022 season, which was his first as an NFL defensive coordinator. And Pete said, don't know what caused that one. Maybe it's just the coincidence, but it's not surprising given the scenario. The timing, however, brutal. And that's a microcosm of today, right? That big Lamar run for what on the Linderbaum hold, wasn't he gone for like 30 plus or 29 or something like that? Brought it back because of a phantom hold. It was backbreaking, self-inflicted wounds that were, in the Ravens case, were the difference tonight.
Absolutely. I mean, this is the game-winning touchdown right here. Ends up being the game-winning touchdown. It put him ahead 27-20. And that first one, Bobby, that one on their first drive, where, I mean, that was just a beautifully designed play where they fake it, and then they give it to Xavier Worthy, and he's just gone. Like you said, he was a blur. That one, it's like, just tip your hat, But this one, it's like, oh, so frustrating, Yeah, this one is like, Marlon clearly thought he had help. I mean, clearly. So, I mean, that was massive miscommunication. So, they're not going to throw anybody under the bus. So either Marlon was wrong or somebody else didn't get the memo. Like, it's that simple.
Another play that comes to mind defensively, Sarah, that was just sort of like a miscue was when Marcus Williams dove after Patrick Mahomes' legs.
Yeah. And that could have been, and that had was that a holding
that was an
call
offset.
On that one?
Yeah, that was an offset.
Would have been like 3rd and like deep, right?
A mile. Yeah. And it's like, and so that's yet another moment where it was like the timing was brutal. And Lamar even mentioned that during his press con, not that specific play, but he mentioned those types of things, like these back-breaking moments in the game that really made it difficult for the Ravens to kind of sustain here and find a way to emerge victorious. Ty Lewis, thank you we got a lot of super chats that are coming in. We will get to every single one of them.
But this one's at least on topic in the moment. Yeah, like
Yeah.
the Rashee Rice. I mean, they were eating up Malik Harris, and it's just like, why is he there?
Yeah, he was playing a lot of inside. Yeah.
Yeah, like have him seal the edge, keep Trenton, like
He's a dog.
can we talk about let's talk about, first of all, he had that original half sack shared with Nnamdi Madubuike.
Yeah.
So that's the start. So, and only his, first game as a starter, he gets a half sack against Patrick Mahomes and then made the absolute monster play.
Would have been the play of the game.
Would have been the defensive. Well, if Isaiah likely caught it, that might have been the play of the game. But yeah, no, this is the defensive play of the game had the Ravens won. I mean, I watched that play, Bobby. He was watching Mahomes. Like, he came way over and he's so fast. He was over on the right-hand side. And as soon as Mahomes started to leave the pocket and went to his left, like in some ways, I'm like, don't blame Mahomes because Trenton Simpson was just there so fast, like out of nowhere, And that's what you need to beat Mahomes is somebody to play like that and surprise him and do your own great plays.
Yeah.
And so maybe the film will break down and show something of why they maybe took him or whoever else off for Malik to come in there. But I just want Malik to seal the edge. Can we just do that? Let's do that. I don't want him in coverage against Rashee Rice, but I feel like Trenton Simpson is off to a wonderful start in filling Patrick Queen's shoes. I mean, these two plays, the one I just talked about, bookending the day, was his first NFL start against Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, he proved he belongs, and I think he'll continue to get better and better. If you think about where Patrick was when he became a full-time starter right out of the gate out of LSU, remember he came in really, really early. He was, not early, but he was like really, really young as an NFLer. He had a lot of growing pains.
Mm-hmm.
I expect there to be growing pains for Trenton, but I don't think they're going to be as egregious as they were for Patrick early on in his career.
Right.
While we're on the topic of linebacker too, remember one of the staples of Mike McDonald's defense, not only in the AFC Championship game last year, but really all season long, was how stout they were in the intermediate part of their defense. And that was not the case tonight. And you just referenced some of that with Malik. But Rashee Rice feasted on the intermediate part of the Ravens defense and particularly with the linebackers. That's got to get shored up.
Mm-hmm.
It's just got to. That's just, hopefully that's one of those iron out kinks that Zach Orr can clean up here in the next couple of weeks, because that was something we really didn't see last year the way that we saw it tonight. And granted, it's the back-to-back reigning champs. This is the best team you're going to see all year, literally. Like, unless some team goes on some crazy run and comes out in 2024 elite out of nowhere, this is the best team you're going to see all year.
Mm-hmm.
So think about it. Like, in the past, in the last couple of years, don't you remember kind of sifting through since we've been partners?
Mm-hmm.
Don't you remember sifting through ugly week one performances the last couple of years? Like, I'm not saying today was pretty, but there's a lot
last
to
year's
like.
Last year's week one wasn't great. They ended up.
It was horrible.
It
was Houston last year.
It was Houston. They ended up with a win, but it was like,
it was the Jets the year prior, and that was ugly too. That's when they lost. Remember, they lost all those players that day, like Jawan James and all these other guys went down that day. But there's a lot to like about today, and I'm sure we have some other defensive notes too before we transition, like David Ojabo.
Oh, David Ojabo for sure. Like, I mean, he disrupted, and Travis Jones too. Like they both got in Patrick Mahomes' face, and like I didn't feel like Mahomes had like. I mean, he had a good game. But I mean, he threw the interception to Roquan.
He did.
What was his final numbers?
See, Patrick. There was a couple times where you want to get mad, and I probably did over Twitter. You want to get mad at a guy like Odafe Owe for not bringing him down in that one moment before he fired to Travis Kelce for like 30 or 40 yards.
Yeah, I remember that one.
And you get mad because of Adafe's track record when it comes to his inability to consistently finish and get the quarterback down.
Mm-hmm.
But then you like find a little bit of grace and you're like, this is Mahomes, man. His escapability is different than Lamar's, but just as effective.
Correct. Like there were a couple times where it's like you think you have him, and then like, ugh, right?
Odafe had him dead to rights.
I
He had
know.
him dead to rights. And you got to find a way. But it's easier said than done for Patrick. He's got this again. It's not an electric escapability. It's a savvy escapability. He's gritty. He just finds a way. He's very slithery. Whereas Lamar's just gonna make you look stupid. I guess both make you look stupid.
They both make you look stupid,
Yeah.
but it's in different ways. So they had actually similar numbers. Well, Lamar had a much more attempts. So Mahomes was 20 of 28, 291 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Lamar 26 of 41, 273 yards. So just like 18 fewer yards. They both had 1 touchdown. Lamar had no interceptions. He had that fumble, but that's not on him. That was Chris Jones eating up Roger Rosengarten and Daniel Falele. I mean, you can't blame Lamar for that. Lamar so many times, just so calm and cool in the pocket. It was just unreal. So I will say, here's what I do want to say that was good about the defense, because it's kind of been negative outside of what Trenton Simpson did. But I felt like there were a few times the Ravens, whether it was by going for it on 4th and 3rd and not converting, or that fumble, sack strip, and the Chiefs got the ball in the 20, and then they had that one in the 5th. Like the defense held them to field goals.
Yeah.
For most of it, like outside of that opening Xavier run, that was just crazy fast. The Ravens defense buckled down and only gave up field goals until it was that busted coverage.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And so it's just all about being more consistent. But it was like, how many times did the defense just make sure that the game never went out of reach all the way up until that busted coverage moment?
Yes.
Like it was, they just made sure it was close. And so, you know, that's the good of it, but you just can't have a busted coverage like that. But Travis Jones, David Ojabo,
who also deserves
and
some love.
Kelce, by the way, Kelce, outside of the one you just talked about where they had a scramble,
quiet.
He was basically a ghost. Did you see that?
He had 3 receptions for 34 yards.
Yeah, that's a great day.
Yeah, that is.
That's a great day. Did
you
you see that interview with Ed Reed on the Up and Adam show? And he said, he said, you know, Patrick Mahomes has weaknesses, and it's not even that hard to see. And basically what he said his weaknesses is that he likes certain targets. He's like, so all you got to go do is go to those targets. And he's like, if you're going to complete it to that target that you love, you're going to have to get through me. And so they took away Kelce for the most part.
Yeah.
They
paid the price in other areas.
They did. But again, if it weren't for the busted coverage, they gave up some chunk yards, but always stood tall until that busted coverage.
Yeah. Well, if it weren't for somebody who I think deserves an honorable mention, Xavier Worthy would have had another touchdown, and that is Ardarius Washington with a fantastic pass breakup in the end zone. Ardarius is a mainstay. He belongs on 53-man rosters. He is 5'8", $180, Sarah, and he plays nothing like his undersized stature. Remember when Wink Martindale on the golf course referred to him as too small over the summer?
Yes.
I loved hearing that, because I'm like, you know what? This guy's made an undrafted career out of comments and beliefs like that. And Wink didn't mean any disrespect by it. It's the facts. It's really tough. It's tough to become a consistent impact player in this league with those measurables. But you remember before he went down last year with the chest injury, he was playing like he did tonight. Great play from Ardarius. Great individual effort play that broke up what would have been Xavier's 3rd friggin' touchdown in his NFL debut.
Yeah, you also remember when Ardarius Washington was going into training camp on the bubble?
Yeah.
And then there he is breaking up massive end zone catches. Yeah. Good for him. Anything else on defense? Did we hit it all? Where was Nate Wiggins?
Yeah, he was quiet. Yeah, I saw him on special teams a little bit.
That was surprising to me.
Yeah, me too. Definitely surprising. And
Like, almost all the rookies were, like, healthy scratches, so it was like, "All right, Nate
Yeah.
and Roger," and then Roger got into the rotation.
yeah,
But, yeah, I just didn't see much of Nate, and we were talking about maybe hit like one of that we were like, Nate versus Xavier Worthy, one of the great matchups to look at, and then that never happened.
yeah, I was trying to
Not
find
even
my
out there, so
slides from
and John
earlier.
Harbaugh wasn't really asked about it. Maybe he will on Monday. I think he'll have his press conference. There's the inactives.
Just in case.
Look at all those rookies, and then
you
Brett
guys
Urban.
weren't on the pregame show. It was Bo Braid, TJ Tampa, Adisa Isaac, Nick Samac, Big Sala, Devontae Walker, and I guess the surprise of the group was Brent Urban, but that was just their plan for tonight. So
Hey, John wasn't asked about Kyle Van Noy, right? Did he ever go back in? That was the only injury.
he was ruled out. He was ruled out with an
He was
eye
ruled
injury.
out with the eye. Okay, but
Hey,
but I don't remember. I don't remember John being asked about him.
No, he wasn't.
Okay.
One miscellaneous. I have some miscellaneous things. Unless you wanted to go somewhere else.
No, you're good.
So, on that final drive, when they were rushing down, and obviously you're in no man's land with no timeouts, you're under the 2-minute warning. Now it's under a minute. You're using Isaiah Likely on the sideline, like you said. You're picking up those chunk plays. You're running out of bounds. I wish Justice had tried to get out of bounds that one time. That hurt.
Mhm.
But at the 20-second mark, I feel like it was a major mistake they didn't spike that football. Because what happened was at 19, they snapped it. And then you kind of buy time, escape, throw up a lofty pass. So it's like another second because of a loft underneath it to Isaiah. He goes down, he gets hurt, and all of a sudden you got 10 seconds left. They originally tried to trot, or I guess, no, obviously they weren't trotting Justin Tucker out on the field at that point. They needed a touchdown to win.
Yeah, you need a touchdown.
But I just felt like if you
2-point conversion.
Right. But like if you down it immediately, if you spike it immediately, you're getting at least 2 plays there. At least. You could probably get 3.
That's probably more the thing looking back on it, because the game was over on the touchdown that was reversed. That was a 3rd and 10. You could have had a fourth down if you had a few more seconds.
I know, and everybody's saying it costs you a play. Duh. I know that it costs you a play. I'm just saying it. And granted, if the play was different,
so he wouldn't have had the 4th down anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess it wouldn't have mattered, because you wouldn't have, because I was thinking you reversed it on 3rd down. If you had a couple more seconds, you would have gone again. But if you spiked it, the Isaiah Likely play would have been a 4th down instead. So in the end, it didn't matter.
Was it 3rd down?
It was 3rd and 10. I'm looking at it right now on
It was
NFL
3rd and 10.
GSIS. It was 3rd and 10, touchdown reversed. And so if you had spiked it, that would have been 4th and 10. So either way, in the end, it didn't end up biting him.
I guess from a resetting standpoint, though, it might have helped a little bit. But anyway.
Yeah, maybe.
That was one miscellaneous thing that I had.
But then you're kind of getting a little too nitpicky there.
Sure.
But maybe.
Sure.
Yeah.
I
really don't think, again, the timeouts had to be called. You can kind of question going for it on 4th and 3rd earlier. But I actually, like, as bad as we laid into the coaches in the AFC Championship game, I didn't feel like the coaches were bad.
No.
Yeah, I mean, again, the defense and the busted coverages and having to call the timeouts, that's a problem.
That hurts.
But I liked, I liked the strategy.
Where was was it truly like a miscommunication thing where the Ravens miscommunicated with over the summer when the professional officials came in about the illegal formations? Like that to me is,
according to Ronnie Stanley,
that's an interesting piece of the puzzle. I mean, from the moment it was the opening drive, didn't they have 3 on the opening drive? Ronnie had 4 total. Like it was Rashad had 1 on the outside. So yeah. What other miscellaneous? Justin Tucker missed from 53.
Justin Tucker missed from 53.
He looks very human-like lately, Sarah, from 50+.
One other thing I wanted to revisit, and I reacted to it live. I'm so glad Lamar Jackson said, "No, they're not my kryptonite." Obviously, he's now 1-5. The Ravens are 1-5 against the Chiefs in the Lamar Jackson era. But you cannot have that mentality. And I've said that before. And so I'm glad he's like, no, they're not my kryptonite. You cannot have that mentality. You cannot. That's not the way. You got to go at it and be like, listen, we're going to beat them. Kryptonite means that, they make you weak all the time. No, we're not doing that. I'm not doing that. So, yeah. Listen, I look forward to the rematch. I think there's going to be a rematch. I think we're going to have it again in January.
I think that would be fitting.
It's going to be fitting.
Fitting.
Both teams, as long as they're healthy, they're going to make it. Lamar had a fantastic game until that final drive where I would just say it was a missed opportunity. It was a missed opportunity to just have that defining moment. So calm and so great all game, despite everything that went around. So, you just got to look forward now to the Raiders and start getting there. And just the goal is win the AFC North. It's take the next game, win it, get where you're supposed to get as best seating as you can get, and hope that there's a rematch again. Quite frankly, I want to get there by going through the Chiefs. I want it to happen.
Oh, wouldn't be valid without it, right? Let's get to some super.
Take the Super Bowl.
It wouldn't be as sweet.
Yeah, there we go.
It wouldn't be as sweet. Of course, it would be valid.
Bobby, it's valid.
Oh, that's a 1:30 thought right there. 1:30 in the morning.
Go to bed.
Corey Cope, let's just cycle through quickly here. We do have a Ravens lunch hour live stream in 10 hours
that's gonna be brutal.
So anyway, be on the lookout for that. But let's cycle through some super chats before we jump. Corey Copeland, thank you for a couple of $1.99s. He wanted to know, of the 8 illegal formations, how many were on KC? None.
So you looked it up. It's definitely none. I don't remember.
No. I just don't. I don't remember any either. And the Ravens had at least 4. They had a warning as well. Ronnie had 4. Rashad had 1. I think Lele was the one who was warned. So, yeah, it was ugly. Justin Morgan, lost this game by a toe. I'm not mad, though. I'm proud of how we fought. Appreciate Justin. Asmodeus, thanks for the $10 super chat donation. The refs are doing with the Chiefs what they used to do with the Patriots. Uneven play calling so that Brady gets 7 Super Bowls and try to have Mahomes gets more. I think Asmodeus has the script on his mind. Takashi Walker, thank you for your $9.99 super chat donation. And JP Bugs, thank you as well. And your comment, only real problem with the refs was calling illegal formations on just one team. Kansas City's offensive tackles behind the line of scrimmage all night. Can someone get the film for this? I'm sure there'll be more film on it in the coming days. And
yeah, with how angry John Harbaugh was and Ronnie Stanley are, it's going to be some discussions. It's going to be discussions between the Ravens and the league for sure. We're just not ever going to hear about it.
Yeah, they'll be sending plays in or however their procedural stuff is.
Yeah.
Let's see. Ty Lewis, thank you. They targeted hair. Oh yeah, we had this one up.
Yeah.
I think we've had everything up now, right? Oh, one more from JP who says, dumb logic. If Pat is the new Tom Brady, Lamar is the new Peyton Manning. I got to think through what he means by that, but it's too late.
I don't know, but if it is, Peyton Manning got his first Super Bowl in year 7, Lamar's in year 7. I'll take that.
Perfect.
Great.
Let's see.
Yeah, I think that's all of them. Man, we appreciate all these super chats. Appreciate that. I guess I just want to see in the comments. For us, for me, I'm not like that down. It's certainly heartbreaking. You feel like you missed an opportunity, but I don't feel crushed. Where are you guys at? I just want to know where everybody's at. Are you good? Are you angry? Are you sad? Where are you at? Where are you at with the Ravens right now? So I'm sure we'll start getting those pouring in here in a second.
While we do, patrons.
Yes.
Layla C., Christopher Washington on the vault side of things. Thank you for the support that you give us through Patreon. This is your monthly shout out. And then on the Bobby Baltimore side of things, given that this is a simulcast, Chris Paulus and Sean Howley, thank you guys. We appreciate all the love that you give us. And if you're interested in doing the same out there and you're watching right now, a great time of year to pop on the Patreon Vault community is right now at the start of football season. And you can join the Vault Patreon community by visiting our show notes below, or as you see on the ticker there streaming, just visit patreon.com/Ravens Vault podcast to learn more. And you can support for as little as $1.99. And we appreciate you guys.
Yeah, so lots of feeling great about the team, but I'm concerned about the O-line. I'm good. Just want our team to get better, especially the O-line. Not mad, but upset they didn't use the run again. Let's see. I've started some over here. I'm happy with the performance. I'm not down, but I'm not pleased again with the offensive line or the play calling, both offensively and defensively. Heartbreaking, but a lot of good things. I'm very high on Lamar. Bro is actually playing some ball. Another person said he is down. It's feels like a little bro and a big bro. Big bro is beating up the little bro. Sarah, we're mainly mad with biased refereeing. Okay, I feel like we're all kind of, most of us are on the same page.
More super chats are coming in. Ty Lewis says too many missed tackles. And wait, I saw another one. James McKenzie says, you guys make a loss easier. Appreciate you both. I have faith we're definitely going to be an awesome team when we get these flaws together. Thanks for the kind words. Appreciate you for being here late night, James.
Yeah. And listen, by the way, with the offensive line, as much as I chuckled at John Harbaugh saying that, we answered questions, I still have questions, but it's Chris Jones, Daniel Falele. That's a tough assignment. And Daniel's only going to get better. And if he doesn't, I'm still waiting. There's still Ben Cleveland back there. So, and Roger Rosengarten, he's only going to get better. That was his very first NFL start. So, I don't know. I think I'm trying to talk myself into feeling good about the offensive line, but I still have questions for sure. I tried.
Well, we'll try to answer them. We'll try to answer as many as possible here over the next couple weeks. Ty Lewis is still throwing us super chat features.
Thank you, Ty. Takesha Walker, did you see Falele's pancake? I did not.
No. But please,
you got
we'd
that?
love to see it. We'd love to see it. Show us it. So, Mahomes was funny post-game in his press conference. He told Isaiah to wear white cleats next time. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
I don't know what that
might have, I don't know if that would have helped. Maybe it would have.
Yeah, knowing Mahomes, he was probably all in good spirits. But
no, that didn't seem like mean. It's like, hey, that's actually pretty good advice.
Yeah, exactly.
Like anything that would help.
Exactly.
That contrast of a black shoe on the white line didn't help.
Yeah.
It was so definitive. If you can mess up the definitiveness of it, that would be great.
Literally.
So.
Well,
look at this. I still got my tags on from my new shirt that I got today from Homage. So
nice.
Check them out.
Post-game show number 1 of 17 regular season games is in the books. And again, we just wanted to say thank you to GEHA, Government Employees Health Association, for being with us yet another football season. Every single post-game show, they're going to be the title sponsor for. And as I kind of briefly told everybody and reminded everybody, Sarah, in the pregame, that stuff just means so much to us. It allows us to really go throughout a season just in terms of, we're getting more
super
donations.
chats.
Evan doesn't want us to leave or what? Evan's been on every single stream that I've done today. I've done 4 today.
Man,
Ravens Lunch Hour live stream, personal, prior to the pregame, postgame. You guys are nuts. Haven't you had enough of me? Daniel Rodriguez, was it me or did Kyle look out of it? I miss him being on the line, flying around. He was pretty quiet tonight.
He was quiet in terms of not making big plays, but I assume he's part of making Kelsey quiet.
Yeah.
He's moving around a lot, obviously. So
Evan came down to a missed 4th down, a fumble. This is what we were talking about earlier on.
Yeah.
Right? Missed 4th down, fumble, blown coverage on defense, and some uneven officiating. Thought they looked good. And you can add on top of that the missed field goal before the half.
Yep.
You can add on sort of the confusion surrounding the messaging on the illegal formation technique.
Mm-hmm.
And so plenty of reasons to walk away, be like, okay, Kansas City's still the top dog, but like, here we go again, more self-inflicted wounds. That if you can fix those, there's no reason why you can't compete and go step for step with the top dog.
I also just want to point out, though, I felt like Kansas City was clunky too.
Yeah.
Like they had some drop passes. They had some.
Juju should have had that.
Yeah, there were like
Juju
a couple that it was.
Juju should have had a touchdown. That's got to be brought in.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So it's not like I'm just saying I don't think the KC had their best game ever. Also, and they had a rookie left tackle.
But yet they always find a friggin' way, don't they?
It was fine.
They always find a way. They are special.
Yeah.
Even if it was, they had a little bit of home cooking, a little bit here and there. But again, we're not blaming that. All right, now it's really time to go. It's almost 2 a.m. and I got to put up the audio only show so that you guys, just in case, maybe can listen to it on the way into work in the morning, on the way walking the dog, gym, you name it. Thank you so much for being here. A special thank you to Government Employees Health Association for sponsoring our channel. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. And hit that notification bell so you can be notified of when we're dropping our daily live content. And the next one will be literally in 8 hours, 9 hours.
I don't know.
10 hours.
My kids are going to start shaking me. Mom.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta go to school.
It's coming up. We're
All
looking
right.
forward to it. We do have a special guest dropping in at 12:30 Eastern time as well tomorrow. So for Sarah Ellison, I'm Bobby Trosset signing off. The Ravens fall to the Chiefs on opening night of the NFL season, 27-20. We'll catch up with you tomorrow and go through anything that we missed, and obviously anything that happens overnight and in the morning, you'll be fully updated on. So see you then.